All right, so this video, of course, is finance related, but it's going to be a little bit different. And a lot of y'all know a few months ago, I took some time off, a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, whatever it was, off from the channel because we had a death in the family. My brother passed away, and so that just brings anytime you have a death in the family, that brings just its own set of issues. But also, depending how that person leaves is also some issues. It's one thing if my brother would have had a terminal illness that he's been battling with for 4 years. Like, hey, it's still fucked up to lose somebody, but mentally, I could prepare myself for that. But my brother was murdered, so it was just a really tough situation. And so, I had this thought, and I wanted to talk about this, and I bring that up to tell y'all how I actually had this thought or how it first came into my mind. I was before the funeral, I'm at his crib. I'm putting this stuff in boxes and throwing shit in bags, and you know, I sat down and thought about it. And that was when it first hit me. A couple of days that went by, and I was like, I ain't really. I mean, I thought about it, but I ain't really. It didn't really hit me. But it hit me as I was putting this stuff in the boxes. My brother didn't have any children, and I was just thinking, like, damn, like it's that's crazy. Like, it's your time to leave, and like your stuff is just what you have in these boxes and the memories. And like, yeah, you got nieces and nephews, but I at that point I thought, like, damn, I can't imagine leaving this earth, knock on wood, is a long ass time from now, but I couldn't imagine leaving this earth and like not having any children, not having a son or a daughter, you know, kids that I could pass on my legacy to. And you could pass your legacy on to anybody, but that's just was kind of my position. So, I went and thought about it, and I was like, man, how much would not having kids alter how I approach life and approach my finances? Would I look at things differently if I didn't have any children? If I was just, carefree, me, the wife, no kids? How would that impact, how I care about my finances and how I move in life? Let's go and dive in. Let's chop it up and talk about it. I'm Marcus. You're at the channel The Debt Free Dad, where we'll follow my family's journey to become first generation millionaires, talking and learning about finance and any other topic that just might be interesting to your boy. Now, I'm a licensed attorney, but this isn't legal or financial advice. This is entertainment, letting y'all know what's going on in the household of the Debt Free Dad as we take takes and talk takes on different situations. Now, let's get into it. Like I was saying, as I was cleaning this stuff up, I kind of had that thought because my brother didn't have any children, and he was, far as him, a little bit about him is he was 3 years older than me, but I directly credit my brother for everything that I have accomplished in my life because I know with 100% certainty I wouldn't have got to the position or done any of the things I've accomplished without him because in true big brother form he wouldn't let me go as wild as I wanted to go. And trust me, I was wild. I did some wild stuff, but he wouldn't let me go too far. Now, he might have been going too far, but he already know, like, hey, I could go this far. You can't go this far. You can only go this far. And that's what a big brother is supposed to do. So, hey, hey, salute to him, salute to my brother Arthur, because he did what a big brother was supposed to do. Made shit easier for me so I could do what I needed to do and put myself in a position to be successful. So let's get into it. Now I know there are a lot of people out there who just don't want kids. Like, I get it. Trust me, some days I don't want kids, and I love some days, and I love my kids, but some days I don't want kids. But there's a lot of people out here who don't want kids. Hell, I think there's some people out there who probably shouldn't have kids or should be prohibited from having kids. But that's a whole different take. But I guess before I even talk about how I would move with my finances if I didn't have any kids, let's just kind of put it in a context. I got married at 25, okay? My son is 15 and I've been married 15 years. So we kind of had a little bit of a Well, it wasn't necessarily a shotgun wedding, but we didn't have the typical date engagement, stars in the eyes, and oh, we married and we gallivant around for 3 or 4 years before we had children. No, we didn't do that. When we got married, my son was there in his little baby seat with his big ass head and his thin ass neck, head bobbling, having to support his neck in the pictures. So we kind of that was kind of the approach we took. So when I thought about the impact that children played on just my kids played on the decisions that we made, like honestly, for the most part, my children has probably been the number one factor into every decision that I've made when it comes to my finances. Now, I will tell you, as I've gotten older, as my children's gotten older, I got to the point where now that's probably not the case. Like now, vast majority of any decisions, especially finance decisions, me and the wife are making those decisions based on what the hell we want to do, taking them into consideration at some point in time. But sometimes we do say fuck those kids. And if you never uttered the word, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. If you never said the phrase fuck those kids or thought fuck those kids, you need to spend more time with your kids. I'm just putting it out there. It is what it is. But so since 25, I've been having these responsibilities of, my wife and I, oh man, we got to worry about what the kids. And my take has always been it's two people I don't want to be a financial burden on. I don't want to be a financial burden on my parents because, once they raise me and I become an adult, it's my job to take care of myself and it's my job to take care of my family. And I never want to be a financial burden on my children when I'm older and I get to a point where I'm wearing diapers and, the gray is just turned into a bald spot and it's all thin and I'm wearing house shoes with shorts and my army Kevlar to scare the kids next door. When it get to that point, I don't want to be a financial burden on my kids. So as far as I can remember, I've been making a lot of financial moves to not be a burden on my parents and not be a burden on my children. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. If I didn't have kids, I would approach my finances completely different. Like, would I have a life insurance policy if I didn't have any children? I probably would have one for my wife, but it probably wouldn't be as high as it is because I just wouldn't need it. It probably would be something significantly lower. Would I make all the same financial moves? Will I worry about investing and retirement? I would invest. I would be focused on my retirement. I would pay off my debt, but I wouldn't do it with the level of I guess aggression that I'm pursuing it now. Now, props to everybody who is focused on their finances, their retirement, investing, saving, and aren't married and don't have kids because you all have a unique and an innate ability to see the big picture, see the finish line without having to have an event happen in life to force you to see the big picture. So for me, marriage, child one, child two, having to get brain surgery. Those are four events in my life that kind of hit me and was like, damn, you need to get your shit together, dog, because there's people out here relying on you. You don't know what could happen. But without kids, I'm gonna tell you right now, that Tesla that I've been talking about that I want, that I'm probably gonna start saving for next year for a couple of years to buy, or not Tesla, but that electric vehicle, oh, that shit would have been in my driveway right now. If I wanted a vacation home, me and my wife would have had that. It's without a shadow of a doubt. Without kids, we would have had it. We wouldn't have no single family home. We would be in a condo downtown where they have rooftop ice cream socials, and when you get off the elevator, you right inside of your apartment. That's probably what it would have been. But you know, I think there are dope things about having children, having someone to pass on that legacy, having somebody to carry on that name. That's a big deal with me. Like I want my son. I'd be like, hey, I gotta have a grandson, and it's on you because I want somebody to carry on the name. So it's on you. Now, my daughter might marry some guy who I would probably consider a simp if he changed his last name to my last name. But no, I don't want her to marry no guy who would do that. I would think that's kind of crazy just based on my personal views. But nah, don't marry no guy who would go for that. Like, I mean, have some type of structure. But that's a whole different conversation. But I don't think I would have moved the same with my finances, but for me having children. I mean, really, a lot of the things that I do is because I don't want to be a burden on them in retirement. I don't want to get older and have them to have to try to make a way for themselves and their family and really worry about me. So, it was just an interesting thought I had, and that thought really hit me, as I was dealing with, the situation with my brother because he didn't have any children. I was like, damn, how would I move? What would I do different if I didn't have any kids? Like, even I can remember even when I was in law school, like I didn't bust my ass and do all that stuff because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't care about. I mean, like I just wanted to get a law degree. I didn't like. I bust my ass to graduate with honors. I bust my behind to be the editor of the law review and be on these trials. I did all of that stuff because I thought that these are the things you have to do to be successful and have a good job. I have to have a good job so I could take care of the child, the wife, the family. I want another child. That was kind of my thought process. So it's always been about them. It's always been about family. And without family, I don't know if I would have the focus that I have to do anything, honestly. Like, I mean, before I had a family, was I focused to do stuff? Yeah, I went to school. I graduated undergraduate before I had a family. So I guess I was focused to do things, but I don't know. The shit was just different, like it got magnified times 10, the drive and determination I had to do stuff. So I think it'll be different. Y'all let me know in the comments if you didn't have any children, all y'all mom, dad out there, if y'all didn't have any children, no kids, do you think you would care as much about your finances or be as aggressive as you are in planning for your future if you didn't have children? Me, probably not. Y'all let me know in the comments. As always, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning into this video. Y'all take care. Love y'all. Be blessed. Peace.